Welcome to the 5 for 2 podcast with me, your host Adele, where we say no to careers where you're trading 5 days of misery for 2 days of fun. A place we discuss all things career, confidence, and money moves. I want to motivate, teach, and empower ambitious women to achieve more, earn more, feel more confident, and enjoy the work they do. It's all about believing you can have everything you want in your career and then going and getting it. So if you're ready, let's get into it. Hey everyone, welcome back. This episode, we're going to be talking about identity again, but we're going to be talking about it from a perspective of you can't be her until you become her. And I know you're saying, what does that even mean, Adele? But basically, confidence building is the basis of a successful career. So I want to talk about why confidence is such an underrated skill and how you can become the person you want to be, earning the money you want to earn, doing a career you love, or starting the business that you want to have. Confidence is a huge part of that. And I'm going to teach you a skill that I work with so many of my clients on so that they can access better opportunities and more money for themselves. So let's be real. We all want to become the best version of ourselves. Like we're always talking about best version of me, becoming a better me, being the best that we can possibly be. But how do you get there without taking action to be there today? No one goes to bed and wakes up with everything they want. Literally no one. If we could all just go to sleep tonight and wake up as the woman we want to be, earning the money we want to earn, doing the job that we absolutely love, that might not be the job that we've been doing for the last 10 years, but something that we've always wanted to do, we literally all would. We'd all just go to bed now and wake up and be that person. But you can't become her unless you be her. You have to be her now to become her. And what I mean by that is you can't be the person you want tomorrow if you haven't done the things you need to do and make the choices that you need to make today. We will never become a new person overnight. And if this isn't even about becoming a new person, I don't believe that we become new people. I just believe that we tap into a deeper, better version of ourselves. We tap into the power that's already in us. We let go of all the crap that's built up around us over the years, and we become the person that we've always meant to be. And this is where it starts. What would change if you were already the person you want to be? And the way you need to think about that is your goals. What goals do you have? Why aren't your career goals happening? Why aren't your money goals happening? What type of person achieves the goals that you're trying to achieve? If you achieve those goals, what would be different in your life? And what would be different about you? I had a client recently that I worked with in Create Your Own Lane. And less than 2 weeks into us working together, she was booking interviews in a brand new industry for 10K more than she's currently on. She didn't suddenly within that week and a half become a whole new person. But what we did work on, and what I always work on with my clients, is what would you do differently if you've had the things that you've come to me to work on? So for instance, she said to me she wants to be more confident. And I asked why. Just a simple question. We all say these things. I want more money. I want more confidence. I want more this. I want more that. But why? Why do you want it? What in your life will change if you had that thing? And for most of my clients, it takes a minute to answer that question. It took a while for her to think about it. I was like, if you were more confident, what would it change in your life? She was like, oh, I just feel more confident. I was like, so nothing would change. So what's the point? Why do you need something if nothing in your life is going to change? And then she proceeded to say, no, but things would change. I would speak up more at work. I would put forward more of my ideas. I feel like I would get noticed more, and that would make it easier for me to maybe get promotions. Even though I want to leave my current industry, I still feel like I haven't gotten the most out of it because I don't speak up and I'm not always the most confident person in the room. And I let other people take over even when I know I have better ideas or I have solutions that will work better. So I said, okay, so you'd feel better at work. You'd be more confident. You wouldn't feel like you disappear or that you're invisible. That's one way. How else will confidence help in your life? She said if she felt more confident, she thinks she'd ask for more money and she'd be willing to negotiate more instead of just accepting whatever people gave to her. So I said, so your money will change. What does your money changing mean for you? She was like, well, in the next 5 years, I want to buy another house. I want to buy a new house. I want to move. So I need to be earning a certain amount of money and I want to make a certain amount of money. Do you see how asking yourself the right questions will lead you down the right path? Just saying I want to be confident isn't enough. Why do you want to be confident? And start thinking about what in your life will change if you have that confidence. Because that confidence can lead to so much more. The experience that you think you lack that's going to make you not get the job that you want in the new industry, confidence. If you walk in that room and you're confident about what you're talking about, every other person in that room is going to believe you. When you walk into that interview and let them know that you're the best choice, you're basically the only choice, and they'd be doing themselves a disservice if they didn't take you on, they believe you. It is not the most experienced person in the room that gets the job. It's the one that's able to sell their skills the best. And it is as simple as that. So back to my client. After we spoke about what it would be like to be more confident, I set her one task. I said to her, next time you're in work, if you were the person who was already confident, so let's just say you already had the confidence, what would you do in your next staff meeting? And she told me these ideas that she's had that she'd been sitting on for a really long time. And I said, say one of them. And she was like, oh, but I'm not confident yet. I said, okay, but how will you become confident unless you start doing the things that you know the confident version of you would do? And that's exactly what I mean by how will you become her unless you be her today? So it took her a couple of weeks, but she went in and she started talking about the ideas that she already had. And she sent me the most amazing and the most lovely and sweet voice note saying to me that she couldn't thank me enough because of how good she felt. Because actually, when she spoke up, the response she got was totally different to what she thought would happen in her head. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more because what is going on in your head is an absolute mess compared to what will go on in reality. We will convince ourselves that something is way worse than it actually is. We don't even know the answer, but we've made up an answer in our mind and we've created a narrative that is really what's going to happen when we step out of our comfort zone. When actually, when you take action towards the things that you want in life, the outcome is never as bad as we think it's going to be. Never, like absolutely not. I can't think of one time where I thought I literally worked a whole situation out in my brain, how it was going to work, what the other person was going to say, just everything. And the scenario never played out like that. So she did one thing. She's just brought up one idea. You do not have to do 10 things today. Change happens over time, but change doesn't happen at all unless you create it. She did one thing. She went into that meeting and she spoke up. And you know what's changed for this client? Not only is she booking interviews in a new industry, but she has been able to negotiate a 2-band salary jump. Anyone who understands salary bands understands that the companies will tell you they're fixed. And if you're in this grade or you're this salary band for the role that you do, she kept her same job title, but jumped 2 salary bands. That's almost 12K, where she currently is in her current job. So she hasn't changed jobs, but while she's looking to move, she has now built up enough confidence that she has increased her salary where she is. The goal in meeting me was to change industry and make more money. She's already making more money simply from the change in confidence, simply from one shift. She is not now the most confident woman in the world. She is just starting to take action from a new place. So what small changes can you start to make? What can you do today to see a result? What would actually happen if you did this thing you're scared of? Because if I was to ask you, why hasn't your career change happened? What have you done to try and change career? What would your answer be? And if any part of that answer is, I'm scared I would lose my job, I'm scared I won't be good at the new job, I'm scared of not having money, until you do it, that doubt is literally living rent-free in your mind. The reality, like I said before, is never as bad as what you make it in your head. The only way to try and answer all the what ifs that you've got going on in your brain, like what if this goes wrong, what if this goes wrong, and what if this goes wrong, is to actually try. You will no longer be wondering anymore because you will already have the answer. And if your career change is haunting you because you think, what if everything goes wrong? What if you just write your CV and start applying to new roles? Nothing in your life will change. You will still have your current job. You will still be making your current money. You will still be living in your same house. You are already safe. So all the fears and doubts you have, they're all unwarranted. I have not made any major change that didn't scare me. I absolutely hate the unknown. You guys hear me on here all the time saying step out of your comfort zone, do things differently. That does not mean that I like doing it. I absolutely hate the unknown. I'm a planner and a strategy girl. I like to minimize any perceived risk as much as possible. Like if I see a risk, I'm like, okay, how can I eliminate this risk? Like when I wanted to change industries, I saved up a crap load of money because it just made me feel better because it was like, if something goes wrong, I've got all this money. Nothing went wrong. I've changed industry not once, but twice. I love what I do. I get to work part-time in my 9 to 5, earn enough money, but then also run a business that I absolutely enjoy. But like I said, I didn't make any of those decisions without understanding that there could be a perceived risk. If you want to change jobs, you just have to write a CV and start applying for jobs. That doesn't change anything in your current situation. You cannot be worse off than where you currently are now. Where you are now is your starting point. So even if you go for an interview and you don't get the job, what has actually changed in your life? Nothing. Your ego might be a bit hurt. Your pride might be a bit hurt, but nothing has actually changed. So you waiting for this perfect moment to make the changes you want, you waiting for the perfect timing to start asking for the money you want, it doesn't exist. It's right now. And getting started doesn't change your current situation. It just means you got started. One thing at a time. And you can still be a planner and a strategy person like me and still do things differently. You can still take control. Like, I'm the type of person who likes to be in control, perceives control, because you're never in control. But I like to believe that I'm in control. The way I manage that is I do things differently, one step at a time. I have a lot of goals. They're not just career related. They're not just money related. They're personal life related. I have health goals. I do one thing at a time in each area of my life, and I do something small. Just like my client spoke up in a meeting and went from there. And she said since then, it's just gotten better and better. Her days at work have gotten better and better. I'm sure a lot of that's to do with getting that nice fat pay rise. But they've gotten better and better. So now it's making her job search even easier. The fact that she's about to change industry is even easier because she's making the money she wants to make right now while going after the role she's always wanted to do. Nothing has changed apart from she's been able to increase her salary because she worked on her confidence. And that's why I say that confidence is an underrated skill. She's been at this company for 4 years and never negotiated outside of her salary band because she was always told she couldn't. A few sessions with me and she worked out how she'd be able to, why she deserves it, and went and told them. And guess what? Her boss knew she was great and has always known she was great. And rather than lose her, said, here's some money. And here's even more than you were asking for. So if you are struggling to move your career forward, negotiate better salaries, sell your skills, I need you to start to be her today. I need you to think about, if I was the person who had all the things that I want, how would she make decisions? What would she do right now differently to what you're doing right now? What's one area you can start working on? What would you do if you already knew it would work out? Like, if you already knew the decision you want to make couldn't go wrong, what would you do? And if you're like me, and you know in the back of your mind, because you want to minimize risk, things can always go wrong, what would the confident version of you do? And who do you desire to be? So logically, you know that things can go wrong. Your brain's always going to tell you things can go wrong. But what would you do if things couldn't go wrong? And whatever the answer to that is, what's one thing you can do as part of that right now? If you knew that you were going to negotiate a 10K pay rise and it was definitely going to go right, what would you do first? What would be the first thing you do? Like, you already know that you're going to get a yes. What would you do? Would you book that meeting with your boss to sit down and talk about your salary? Or would you plan what you're going to say first before you book the meeting? That's me, by the way. I would plan what I'm going to say. Then I would book the meeting. Then I would have the meeting. You're not going to be the woman who's earning 10 or 15K more until you do something differently. So what's the first thing you can do differently? Even if it's just writing out why you deserve the money, what you've brought to the company recently, how you saved them money, how you've made them money, how you've made policies better, how you've made procedures better, how you have kept them compliant, how you have brought in new customers, how you have increased their brand reach, whatever it is, you can start working on that today. One thing at a time. How can you make your next move safely? Growing your confidence doesn't mean doing everything at once, but what is one thing you would do differently if you were more confident? Is it that you would say no to something and set a boundary? That's what I want you to go and do. Say no. Say no to something really small that you'd usually say yes to, and just watch and see what the outcome is. Because once you get one result, I promise you, you'll start to be like, oh, that wasn't as bad as I thought. Let me try the next thing. So how can you do things safely, but from a place of, if I was already her, this is actually what I would do differently. Okay, let me do that one thing differently. So like I said, you want a new job? You do not have to quit your job. You do not have to mess up your nervous system and be like, oh my God, now I'm jobless. No one told you to do that. you can just take the first step and rewrite your CV. You can just start reaching out to people on LinkedIn and connecting with people in the industry that you're interested in going with. Just send a connection request. That's it. Hit follow because LinkedIn has the follow button. Just follow them. Follow companies that you're interested in. You do not have to run before you walk. If you've already got your CV together, start applying for some jobs. Again, applying for a job is not going to make you lose your current job. Where you currently are, you're good, but you're not happy. You're not where you want to be. The only way to be where you want to be is to start to make choices today. Future you is waiting. Future you will thank you. Like, I thank the past me for all the things she did, for all the time she did stuff scared, for all the situations that I was in that felt hard and I didn't want to do, for the times when I was a mum with an 18-month-year-old who had bills and everything else that everyone else has and decided I wanted to change industry and do something I'd never done before and lose my title as a manager and go all the way down in title. That was scary as hell. I had a whole child. I have a child. I have a whole child to feed. I had an 18-month-year-old at the time. She was 18 months and I risked it all. But the reason I risked it all is because I could not see myself doing the job that I no longer love, that I just was starting to hate. That is not what I'm here in this world to do. It's not to hate what I do and be miserable and to become bitter. Like, I see bitter people that hate their job. Like, I know you've been into shops before and dealt with people that have no customer service because they hate their job. And I'll be like, oh, just because you hate your job, don't take it out on me. That's how I genuinely feel. There are always going to be times in life where we got to do what we got to do to pay the bills and keep a roof over our head. But while we're doing that, it does not stop us from taking action in the areas of our life that we want to move forward. It does not stop. Just because you're doing a job right now that maybe you don't love doesn't stop you from getting your CV sorted, doesn't stop you from applying for jobs, doesn't stop you from networking, doesn't even stop you from negotiating money at your current job. The only thing that stops you is you, because you haven't decided that you definitely want to be the person you want to be. You haven't decided that your new identity is important to you. Identity work is just about deciding who you choose to be. I am the most confident introvert you'll ever meet because people always have this thought process that introverts are not confident and that we're super shy. And FYI, I can be insanely shy in certain situations, but I am confident in who I am. I'm confident in my abilities as a mother, as a person at work, what I bring to the table. I'm confident that I deserve the money I ask for when I ask for it. I'm a confident person. That does not take away from the fact that I'm an introvert. But for a long time, I bought into the narrative, oh, you're an introvert, you're shy, you're never going to be able to ask for certain things. The minute I decided that that doesn't have to be my reality, I started taking action as if I was already the confident version of myself. So you want to change industry, you've got a child, how can we make this work? Let's start saving first and foremost. Let's start putting some money down. In case things go absolutely tits up, let's have some money in the background. Cool, that made me feel better. Now let's look at how we're going to make our CV connect with the new industry, because I'm working in childcare. How the hell am I going to get into HR? All while I'm doing this, I still have a job. Nothing has changed. And this is why I'm saying you become her one step at a time. The next thing I want you guys to start doing is write down what you want. Create a plan. I write everything down. I've got a book and I write all my goals down. And I don't time frame myself to death. That's something I've done for years. And when I say time frame myself to death, like I say to myself, I have to achieve it in the next 12 months. And if I don't, I'm going to give up. Absolutely not. Now, don't get me wrong. I am the worst for beating myself up. Like, if I give myself 12 months and it doesn't happen in 12 months, I am the most disappointed. I am annoyed. I'm frustrated with myself. However, I do not give up. Because whether I achieve it in 2 years or 1 year, I achieved it and I'm going to be happy. If you want a 5K pay rise, you want a 10K pay rise, you want a 25K pay rise, if you get it in 6 months, of course you're going to be happy. But are you telling me if it takes you a year and a half to get it, you're going to somehow be sad? Absolutely not. You're still going to be happy because you achieved the thing that you want. So don't time frame yourself to death, but write it down and put time frames on it. I'm not saying not to put time frames on it. Say in the next year or the next 2 years, this is what I want to achieve. As humans, we underestimate what we can do in 3 years, but we overestimate what we can do in 12 months. And that's a fact. When you've written down everything, I want you to then create a plan. Make a vision board or a Pinterest board. Yes, as grown as I am, as old as I am, I have a vision board in my room. I like a physical board. I don't like electronic ones. And my board has all the things I want to achieve on it. And the funniest thing is I've achieved a lot of those things. The first time I decided to create this board, the actual physical board, was 2017. I see it almost every day. Well, literally every day because it's in my room. Sometimes I don't pay attention or intentionally look at it, but some days I really focus on it, but it's right there. I found pictures online, I cut them out, I pinned them on there, and they're all to do with my goals, not just my career goals, not just my money goals, but my life goals, my travel goals, my family goals, my personal life goals, my romantic life goals. They're all on that board. And since 2017, I have watched each one of those things happen. Slowly but surely, they've all happened. And the things I've added on there recently or in the last year or so, they will also happen because all the other things did. So start having something that you can visually see. Whether you do it electronically or physically like I do, have a vision board. And like I said, not just your career, but your whole entire life. Work on one area at a time. Because as you work on one thing and start getting small results in that area, the rest will naturally start to take shape because you will realize it's not as hard as you thought. As you work on one thing and start getting small results, the rest will naturally start to take shape as you realize it's not as hard as you thought. I started working on my fitness goals, started working out more, started seeing results. Guess what? It gave me a level of confidence that helped me when I got made redundant and I needed to start looking for a new job. It helped me be like, do you know what? Maybe I want another industry change. And it helped me make that a reality. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you start creating a vision board, creating a list, writing down all your goals, you have something to work towards. But you're not just focused on one area, you have a range of things to work towards, and you can do one small thing at a time. So if you take nothing else from this episode, becoming confident is what's going to change your career and money. But the only way to become confident is to actually start making decisions now. Ask yourself, if I was as confident as I wanted to be, what would I do right now to help me with my career? What would I do right now to make the money that I want to make? What would I do right now to get myself out of this toxic work situation? What would I do right now to get my business off the ground? What needs to happen in my 9 to 5 so that I can get my business off the ground? Start taking action from who you want to be, not who you are. Who you are has everything you currently have today. Who you want to be will have all the goals that you've set for yourself, but only if you today takes action as her. So like I said at the start of the episode, if you want to be her, you need to become her. If you want to become her, you need to be her. It works both ways round. The only way you can become her is to be her today, to make decisions based on who you want to be. Make decisions on the results you want to see in your life. Make decisions on the career path you want to take today. This has been a great episode. As always, if you need support in your career, if you want help selling your skills, making some more money, building your confidence, reach out. Come follow me on Instagram at CoachAdelT. Head over to my website. Links are all in the show notes. Or book a call with me. Book a free call with me if you are ready to start working. You are done talking about it. You're over all the your own bullshit that's in your own mind and you are ready to take action. Let's change that career. Let's add 5 figures to your salary and let's see what you can do from there, whether it's start a business, have more time with family, work remotely, whatever it is. Reach out, book a call with me and let's chat. See you in the next episode. I hope this episode gave you exactly what you needed and motivated you to confidently take steps towards your next career move. If you enjoyed it, screenshot and share it on your socials, tag me on Instagram, and come join my community of amazing women working on leveling up their confidence and career. Thanks for listening and see you next time.